Residents of the Browns Farm informal settlement in Nyanga say they live in constant fear due to the high levels of crime there. The area has been declared a crime hotspot with escalating robberies and hijackings. The city of Cape Town is now planning to install CCTV cameras throughout the township in an effort to curb crime. And Newzroom Afrika's Nasiphi Same joins us now for more there in the community. Nasiphi, good morning to you and welcome. As we mentioned there in the intro, this settlement has been flagged as a crime hotspot. Even online traders and e-hailing drivers have been discouraged from coming to the area. Just paint that picture for us.
Well, Iman, just late last year, we were back in Nyanga talking about the same informal settlement, Browns Farm, notorious for those crimes that you highlighted. We were talking to the CPF here late last year, indicating that they're not only discouraging people to not buy or use that platform of Facebook marketing, but also discouraging e-hailing service drivers of entering that community, advising them to come to the station first or have their clients be picked up at the station. It is quite a distance from here to Browns Farm informal settlement, and one can imagine moving in between the community of Nyanga to pick up an e-hailing service. A vehicle here is also a risk on its own, as we do know that for many years Nyanga has been flagged as the murder capital. However, as much as it has moved away from being the murder capital, crime and dangerous and violent crimes persist. A number of times the issue of resourcing has also been flagged. But I'll go back to Browns Farm and zoom into that crime hotspot. I'm joined by a resident from Browns Farm, Nyanga, who's going to be talking to us about the nature of crime that we're seeing in that particular informal settlement. Having lived there for about 21 years, I'd like to think that you've seen the crime patterns over the years and how they have changed.
Thank you so much. And there's not that much that has been changed in the crime. We've got lots of crime in our areas, and we are living like in hell. Each and every night you can hear gun sound, gun shooting each and every night. And the police and the law enforcement are trying their best to fight this crime, but it seems we are fighting a losing battle. Even the community, they try, but as much as the community they try, they also scared for their lives. Because you go to Browns Farm, you know that you might come out alive. If you are lucky, if you are not lucky, you won't come alive in Browns Farm, more especially if you are just a person coming from outside. Even if you're living there, Browns Farm is one of the areas that is hectic each and every night, every weekend. Some people get shot and killed each and every time. So I think the thing that is we expected that it can assist us is the cameras. If they can put more cameras, that will be working and monitored in our area, not monitored in Footwood or whatever. But now the city is promising that they're going to put more cameras in the next financial year, which I think maybe it's politicking, because we know that we are going to May the 29th, so everyone needs a vote. So I think it's that, because it's not the first time they promised us about these cameras. It's been years.
On that note, they are, indicating that they will be putting up these cameras in the community of Browns Farm to assist the boots on the ground. But earlier on, you were indicating that you do have CCTV cameras in your community.
Yes, indeed. We have CCTV cameras in our area. And I think there are two, one near Route First and the other one is near N7 Siswano High School. But they are not assisting at all. They are not working. If you ask, they said you must go to Goodwood, and you go to Goodwood, no assistance there. So, and my question is this: why CCTV cameras for Nyanga is going to be monitored in Goodwood? That is far away, and they are not working. They don't assist anything. They are not functioning. For I think they have been there about almost 10 years. If my memory serves me well, it's about 10 years. It is still cameras are there, but they are not helping at all. So we don't know how are they going to assist us now. But we hope they will do something better.
And earlier on, usually we would be meeting in Browns Farm to have this conversation in that community, to see these cameras you speak of that have been up for close to a decade that are not operating. Talk to us the reasons why we're meeting outside the Nyanga police station.
Yeah, the reason we are meeting outside the police station is because of the crime. Because if you go there, down there, you wouldn't come back with your cameras. I promise you, if I can say go there now, you won't come back here with your cameras. Maybe you're going to come walking, or you're going to fetched by the police, because of the crime is still going up. These boys are still terrorizing everyone in our area. So Browns Farm is a no-go zone area. Even the Ubers, they mustn't go there. The truck to deliver, they need to be escorted. If there are no escort, they are gone. All the stuff is gone. Everything in Browns Farm, you need to arrange with the police or the law enforcement. You can't just go there.
What about emergency service vehicles, ambulances and fire brigade?
Yeah, I've been here in Nyanga police station. I arrived here at around 8:30. And I find an ambulance here waiting for the police to escort them to Browns Farm. So that ambulance, I asked that people, they said they were called at around 6:30 in the morning. But because they can't just go there with the ambulance, they have to come in Nyanga police station to ask for an escort. So I'm just thinking about the person who is sick or who's been shot in Browns Farm, but the ambulance can't just come straight to Browns Farm. They have to go and wait for the van of the police. Maybe it can take about 2 to 3 hours. And then that person, they might arrive there, that person is passed on already because of the crime. Because they can't just go there. The ambulance will be taken away by these criminals.
Tata, you paint quite a grim picture of what Browns Farm has been looking like, or the trends of crime and the skepticism that you have of these CCTV cameras that will be installed. What are then the solutions? I mean, as somebody that has been living there for so long, do you have any solutions perhaps?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we have solutions. First of all, I think they must try to reduce the number of shacks there. The second option, I think, if they can do something just for the neighborhood watches, the people who are watching there, if those people can get some stipend, whoever who can come or from manna from heaven, just to give them something, then they can work properly, because they've been working for the past 4 years without getting anything, using their clothes, using their stuff. There's nothing that is assistant get. So if they can beef up neighborhood watches and the CPF, then I think the crime can go down, because the police and the law enforcement, they won't cut out the crime. They won't get rid of the crime alone.
The community member of a Browns Farm, painting a very grim picture for us there, Iman, and also talking about the fact that they are quite skeptical about these CCTV cameras that will be installed by the end of the financial year by the City of Cape Town, in assistance with law enforcement authorities that are working in that community to reduce crime. But to talk to us about the numbers now and the nature of crime that we're seeing in the community of Browns Farm, I'm joined by Dumisani Kwebe, the CPF Secretary of Nyanga. You were saying to me not too long ago that Browns Farm contributes about 70% of the crime that comes out of the Nyanga precinct.
Thank you very much, Nasiphi. Yes, indeed. 70% of our crime comes from Browns Farm. One of our key generating crime there is extortion, it's murders, it's gang-related issues, it's rape, it's street robberies, it's assault, housebreaking, hijacking, Facebook marketing. Those are the major crimes that are always being conducted in Browns Farm. You know, the reason why it's so like that in Browns Farm is because of the environment design in Browns Farm, where you can never have a proper street or a proper road for any emergency service that can go through. Even if there's a challenge in Browns Farm, you need to know that subs will have to leave the car out of the road, have to walk in between the shacks, running after the criminal, which means make their work very hard. Also, the ambulances are not able to access the road in Browns Farm because of the nature of the environment design of Browns Farm. Yes, indeed, if ever we can be in a position of saying, how can we better Browns Farm? We need to sit down as government, community, and other people to ensure that we have got a better service approach, of which it needs to be an integrated approach, not what is happening at the moment, where you'll find City of Cape Town provincial government, national government are fighting among themselves, that doesn't help us a lot. We need to see them working together to ensure that we're in a better society.
Would you say, you're highlighting now that the spheres of government are working in silos and not having an integrated approach in tackling the crime, social ills and service delivery in Browns Farm. Would you say that criminals are now taking advantage of that situation?
Yes, indeed. Once there's a gap, whenever we can go, if there's a gap, someone will take that opportunity to use the gap to do what's supposed to not to be done. Yes, indeed, the issue of infighting amongst the government spheres is a challenge, and it makes life for Browns Farm people to be very difficult. You know what we need to do, as the City of Cape Town promised that at the end of this financial year they will install cameras. We need to hold them accountable. This is not the first time for them to say so, but we need to hold them accountable. We can never have people who are playing with people's life for their own benefits.
We'll have to leave it there. Dumisani Kwabe, SCPF secretary here in Nyanga. A lot to unpack, Iman, both from the side of the residents, including authorities, which is the CPF, saying that with all that has been said and done and promised, government does need to be held accountable for their promises, because it is a community, or rather communities do find themselves held hostage by criminals who are ransacking, and basically communities living in fear because of the escalating crime that they are seeing.
Being stalked by crime, 24/7, Nasiphi, those stories are just always so heartbreaking to hear. But as your first guest said, there's this belief that the CCTV cameras aren't going to make any real impact. It goes back to the question of when the city or others decide to create interventions or, implement certain plans, have they consulted the community fully? What is the community saying about what they need and how they want to be invested in any of these interventions going forward? Again, time will tell. Nasiphi Same, thank you very much for bringing us the latest there in Nyanga.